Well, this is quite a thrill, making a return visit to Philly Pressbox Radio. He was on the show just over 5 years ago. It is the great Dick Vermeil. Welcome back, Coach.
Nice to be with you. It's been fun before, so let's do it again.
Well, Coach, the votes have been cast, and unless there's a ridiculous upset, it's going to be announced Thursday during that evening's NFL Honors Show that the 2022 Hall of Fame class will include Dick Vermeil. How's that make you feel?
Well, first off, I'm aware it's not 100%. At least I'm thinking that. There's only been 15 coaches inducted over the last 33 years. So I know I'm a finalist, and if they put a coach in, it's me. And I'm very proud of that fact and very humbled by it because there's so many other people that are qualified as well. So here I am. I'm waiting.
I like your chances. We're going to talk more about the Hall in just a bit, but regarding your coaching career, after 2 years guiding UCLA, you ended up, of course, with the Eagles. You coached 15 years in the NFL, 7 with the Eagles, of course, then much later, 3 seasons with the St. Louis Rams. You won that Super Bowl title, and then another 5 a few hours west of St. Louis in Kansas City. And, Coach, in each case, you took what had been a down franchise to the playoffs in your 3rd year. Does it often take a couple of years to get the roster you want and to get the players to buy in?
Well, I think it does. Unfortunately, the coaches of today in the modern era aren't getting as much time. And also the coaches don't have the control of the practice schedule, the padded, the double days, and all these kind of things like they used to build their football team. But my basic philosophy was always try to build a team, not buy it. Do it through the draft. But when we got to Philadelphia, as you remember, we didn't have any draft choices for 3 years, at least the first high picks. But anyway, our approach seemed to work. It just took a little while to get it done. We won 35% of our games the first 2 years with 3 different teams. We won 73% of them on the 3rd year. So it worked,
It
Disappointing
sure
is that it took us 5 to get to the Super Bowl with the Eagles. I got beat. We didn't get it done.
Yeah. Coach, the Eagles, speaking of the Birds, are coming off a 9-8 season. They made the playoffs as a 7th seed, but they still seem to be far back of teams like the Rams and Packers and Chiefs and Bengals. So what does Jalen Hurts need to do to truly become the guy, assuming they are going to put their faith in him? And what else do the Eagles need to do this offseason?
Well, I think they have to keep doing what they did the second half of the season to continue to improve and give him the opportunity to gain experience. He's a talented young man. Whether he's going to be the guy that can beat teams that have the great defense, and also have the great quarterback, it's going to take time to see that. But he sure made progress. He really did.
Do they need to upgrade the defense, upgrade wide receivers still this offseason? What do you think?
I think it's a constant program to upgrade everything you're doing.
Yeah.
And I always started with myself. If you want your team to improve, the first guy's got to improve as the head coach. He's got to get better. Then each assistant's got to get better. Then you go down to the players and help them get better. Then you bring in better players at different positions and let them compete. Many times just the competition makes the player that was there last year better because he might lose his job if he isn't better. And sometimes it's maturity, So I was impressed with the improvement they made, and I'm not saying anything that hasn't been said 15 times or 1,500 times already, but I was impressed with the improvement they made, and hopefully that Jalen and he can become the big-time guy because they all need him. Hey, look at the 2 quarterbacks going in the game this week, You got the number 1 pick in the draft that led the conference after 6 games as a rookie and getting hurt, led the conference with 70% complete, led the conference in yards per pass attempt, led the conference in yards per pass completion. It's obvious. It's not as obvious with Jalen. And we've got to find a way to get him up to that level. It's going to be tough, but he's a great kid and he works hard.
Well, speaking of top-level quarterbacks, Coach, a couple of weeks back, I saw the movie American Underdog, the Kurt Warner story. I know you've seen it yourself 3 times at various events. I really enjoyed it. And it implied that you believed in Kurt Warner a lot more than some of the other folks around him. How accurate was that?
I think that it's probably close to being true, maybe exaggerated. But see, as a head coach, you're not coaching a specific position and not coordinating an offense or a defense. You have more time to evaluate each player on the field during practice. And the movie doesn't show or give any examples of his very first year with us. He was there for a whole season. That wasn't included in the movie. It would have made the movie too long. So I had the opportunity to watch him every day as a head coach, just watch him attack our defenses playing the opponent quarterback. And I was impressed. So I had more confidence in him maybe initially, but the staff bought in. And then, of course, Mike Martz and the offensive coaches did a great job with him.
Speaking of movies, I got to ask you, you've seen both movies, of course, over the years. Who was the better Dick Vermeil, Dennis Quaid in that one or Greg Kinnear in Invincible?
Well, they were both very talented guys, and it was a challenge to be me. I'm sure it must have been. But what I appreciated about American Underdog and Dennis Quaid was they actually used some exact comments I made to Kurt. So that, to me, that added credibility to their whole efforts to make the movie.
Gotcha. You won the Super Bowl with them and Kurt. And now Super Bowl 56 matches the upstart Cincinnati Bengals with their great young quarterback, who you mentioned, Joe Burrow. And the franchise you took all the way 22 years ago when they played in St. Louis, of course, not Los Angeles. We're talking about the Rams. So who are you rooting for this Sunday and who wins?
Well, I'm rooting for the Rams. There's not anybody really in the organization anymore that was when I was there other than Stan Kroenke owned 43% of the team when I was coaching them in St. Louis. Now he owns them all. But I'm a Ram fan. I think the Rams are a slightly better team. But, Chiefs proved a week ago that the best team doesn't always win. You only have to be the best team game day. And I think the team that's going to win this one is the team that doesn't get a touchdown call back or a big play call back or give somebody a pass interference penalty 30 yards downfield in the red zone. Or these kinds of things, those kind of calls in tight games, I think will make the difference. But I believe in studying the numbers like I have. If you took just the numbers alone, it would be the Rams winning the football game.
Okay. All right, Coach, last August, you were out in Canton for Harold Carmichael's long overdue, I think, induction into the Hall of Fame. And while you were out there, I'm looking at a picture right now. You can see it too. About 20 ex-Eagles were out there, made the trip. We're talking Ron Jaworski, Mike Quick, John Bunting, Ken Dunnick, John Spagnolia, Keith Krepfle, our buddy Kevin Riley, and the great Brian Dawkins. I have a feeling we're going to see an even bigger contingent of ex-Eagles out in Canton this August, not to mention a bunch of Rams and Chiefs alumni. You apparently made quite an impression on your players.
Well, they made quite an impression on me. They took me any place I went, believe me. There was more of them making a contribution and great coaches around me. I'm very close to a lot of my players. I was just visiting the other day with Keith Krepfle and Frank LeMaster. And had a great time with them. Those guys did a great job for me, and hopefully I did a good job for them. And I've always believed in building sincere, honest relationships and coach the hell out of them. My motto was make them sweat on the field, make them happy off the field.
Hey, Coach, when the Eagles beat the Patriots 4 years ago in Super Bowl 52, I'm guessing that as a former coach of the franchise, you felt some of that special feeling that all of us fans felt, did you not?
No question. I really did. It touched me. I know how sincerely loved the Eagles are by the Philadelphia fan and how intense they can be and how much they appreciate great effort and how much they despise poor effort. And I was happy for them. I was happy for the organization. And it really touched me. I was happy for Doug Peterson and his coaching staff, the ownership, Howie Roseman. They take a lot of heat in this town. Okay, they take, we're with you win or tie, and don't tie many. And I was really touched.
Hey, Coach, one more thing. You and Kevin Riley and a bunch of others who were involved, of course, put on a terrific golf event for 27 years through 2019. I was lucky enough to have made it to the last four that you guys put on. I'm not sure how much money you raised over those 27 years for the Boy Scouts, Chester County Council, but man, what a great event that was.
Yes, it has been and was, and they're starting it over again. I'm not deeply involved in it anymore. I just got sort of tired of asking people for money. So here comes Vermeil asking for money again. And I thought we made our contribution. We probably produced over $5 million in those 27 years that went directly to the scouting programs here in Chester County. And I want to direct my efforts, cool cars for kids, CHOP. There's a fund there for my special needs granddaughter, Amy Vermeil Fund, and these kinds of things and touch other people. There's I just wanted to do something a little bit different and help in a different area.
Hmm. Finally, Coach, before I let you go, I'm going to need to see your birth certificate because you can't really be 85. Is it the Dick Vermeil wines that keep you young or what?
Well, I hope so. I don't know. Yeah. I've always believed if you want to be healthy, you got to work at it. It's the greatest investment you can make is in your own personal health. And I'm fortunate. I've always been in the sports world. I've always been a fitness guy, and I work out 3 to 5 times a week. I've been doing it all my life. Now, maybe that's why I supposedly look younger, but I know this. So, I have 2 artificial hips, can't hear, can't remember, can't see, and can't pee. Other than that, I'm in pretty damn good shape.
Oh, my. Coach Vermeil, this was great. Congrats on what I'm sure is going to be some terrific news Thursday evening from the Hall of Fame, folks. And if I'm right about that, I'm going to see you in August out in Canton, okay?
Well, I look forward to it, believe me.